Hello everyone, welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and then in today's tutorial we'll be talking about how to create a function that will check whether a word is a pangram or not a pangram. So what is a pangram? So a pangram is a sentence that uses every letter of the alphabet at least once, right? So a classical example is the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, right? So from this sentence, it's using every alphabet, every letter of an alphabet, right? At least once. So another example is the Sphinx of black quartz judge my vote. By val, right? So now we're going to create a function to do that. So how do you solve this issue? How do you write a function to do this? So first of all, you need to make sure that all the words that you're going to be using are normalized. So that a word like a must be equal to a, right? So we're going to try and make sure that you normalize all our sentence. Then we're going to find all the characters, which we have 26 alphabets, and then build a set around them. So now let's see how to do that. So let's start with the function is Pangram, right? Pangram. Perfect. Let me bring it up. Okay, it's Pangram, and then it's going to take an input, right? So sentence. To make sure that it only accepts strings, you can just use it in a more generic way by using abstract string, so that if it's a number, it's not going to work. Only strings, right? Perfect. Then let's end it. So the idea is that you must first of all normalize our text. So let's normalize it. So normalize to lowercase so that a is the same as a, right? Okay, perfect. So then the next thing that after that you must make sure that you are going to match all of them. You must have a set of alphabet or the alphabet, and then you're going to match them, right? Match them, match each character. We're going to match each character, and then we're going to build another set with what we have found, right? Okay, perfect. And then we're going to compare the length. So compare the length. So perfect, so that you know that it's actually working. You have all the characters there. So first of all, let's normalize our text. Is going to be lowercase of our sentence, so that whatever sentence that is coming here is going to be put into lowercase, right? Then the next thing that you must make sure that we build a set of all alphabets. So one way of building a set is either to go it like this. Let's call it as or a list, or not just a set, but something like a list of alphabets, right? So something like A, B, C, D, D, E, F, G, all this blah blah blah, right, up to Z. So there's a simple way of doing it by using a regular expression. Sorry. That takes something like this, right? So the regular, this is how to do a regular expression in Julia. So R is just like the F string, right, in Python. This is quite nice. So it's going to find all ways from A to Z, right, which is just all the alphabets. Perfect. So that is one way of doing it. Now let's try and match them together. So to match them in Julia is quite simple. You can just do it like match all. Then we're going to match this here. Let me bring it up. We're going to match every word that is going to be found here with our lowercase, right? So lowercase and then our sentence. Perfect. So that is what you're going to do, right? It's going to match everything here. So now we're going to match everything. Perfect. Then after that, after matching every word of it, we're going to make sure that we build a set. See, the next one is supposed to build a set. So we're going to build a set of whatever words that are being matched. So let's call it a set. That's how to build a set in Julia. Then the set is going to take all the match words, and then it's going to build a set around the match words and then the lowercase, right? Whatever sentence that is there. Then the final thing is that you must compare the length of it. So the length is going to be this, right? And then you must make sure that the length is actually up to 26. Perfect, right? So that is the main idea. So first of all, we're going to normalize our sentence, and then we're going to get a list of all the alphabets. We're going to match them together to make sure that they are matching the repeated ones. Then we build a set of the match words and the lowercase words, and we're going to compare the length of it. So perfect. So all these things are going to go off. The only thing we will need now is is the last one, right? So that's the most important thing we need. So we're going to call it as return this. Perfect. So that is all we'll be doing. Now let's check our function. Perfect. So let's see whether it's going to work. So it's going to be a Pangram, and then the way we're going to be using is the quick brown force, which is this one here. Let's see whether it will work. True. Perfect. So that means that it's actually working. So now let's try it with our second one, our second sentence, which is this one. Then I'm going to call it is Pangram. Yep. And it's going to give us as true because it's a Pangram. Perfect. So that is one way. So now let's try something whether it's going to work for something that is not a Pangram. So Julia is so cool, but right, it's false, right? This is not a Pangram. That is why they know it. So that is one way of creating it. So the main idea is that you are going to create a list of words, and I'm going to loop through it and build a set around it. Now let's see a simple way. Apart from this is a quite simple way, but let's see another way we can do this. Okay, so we work with this function, which is going to be another simple way of doing it. This is an alternative method, right? So the alternative method is going to be alternative method, right? So we're going to create another function. So function, and the function is going to be is, let's call it as is Pangram. Then we're going to have our input, right? So input, we can just leave it like anything, right? Perfect. Or let's call it a sentence because we're using sentence. Oops. Okay, perfect. And then here we're going to just do it like, sorry for the mistake. I'm going to go with all the letters of the alphabet. So the letters of the alphabet we had is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Wait, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Right? Perfect. So all the alphabet. This thing can be done in another way as we did, right? Perfect. Like with the regular expression. So for C, for character, in my letters, let's call it as letters, right? Or alphabet. So if CH not in, right? In, we can't do something like this. We can't do this in here, but Julia gives you an option of doing not an element. So just go with it. Backslash, then not in, then tab. Perfect. It's going to create an not in element. So not an element of this my sentence that I had here. And we must make sure that we put them into lowercase, because if it is capital A and small a, to see it as different, because all our words here are small letters, right? So that's two. You have to work perfectly well. Then the next thing is that we're going to return false if it's not an element, and then we return true if it is an element, right? So I'm going to end here for this, and then the last one for the function. Perfect. Now it's working. So now let's check it again. Is Pangram. Let's see. Perfect. Now it's working. So that is one way. That is the second method of doing it. So thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have any question or contribution, you can just put inside the comment section so that everybody can benefit. So the main idea is to be able to look throughout the words and make sure that they appear only once and all the words are found there. That is the main idea. So this thing could have been done in a simple way, in a simple one-liner, right? This entire thing can be done in a simple one-liner. By doing it in this way, we just copy this. That is one nice thing about Julia. You can just copy this entire thing here and make it a simple one-line function. So it's Pangram, right? That is quite nice about Julia. So sentence abstract string, and then we just go with this. That is it, right? So this function, this is going to work perfectly. It's another way of doing it. It's Pangram 1, and we can just check is Pangram 1. Let's give it our example. quick brown, for example, for the little dots, or this is going to work perfectly. True, right? Okay, so that is one simple way. So thank you for watching. If you have any question or contribution, you can put it inside the comments section, and if you have a better way, you can also put it inside the comment section. Thank you, and stay